AI. And you probably now say, well, that's everywhere, isn't it? And it absolutely is. It absolutely is everywhere. The question is, what is shadow AI and why is there maybe a cross-functional leadership gap in your organization? And we have an expert on the matter with us today, backed by a popular demand yet again. Hello and welcome, Barbara Wittmann.
Thanks for having me back.
Thank you very much for taking the time again. What is shadow AI? What is your definition of shadow AI and what is probably the danger of having it in your organization?
Yeah. So AI happens when people are finding their own ways of dealing with their daily tasks to handle. So if an organization is a little slow in getting AI going, people sign up to, ChatGPT and other tools and whatnot, whatever is making their life easy.
Hmm.
And that grows like wildfire. It's really hard to put tabs on it. The only way to do this as an IT person would be to um, put something in the firewall to block certain websites or
Well,
what,
but
but
then
no
they
one
just
is
go on their
doing that.
private smartphones
Yeah.
and then they can do
Yeah,
it from there. So they will
exactly.
find ways, one or the other. What they probably
Yeah.
do is they go on their smartphones on Claude, ChatGPT, Copilot, do it there, and then
Yeah.
send it to themselves via email.
Exactly, whatever. And, usually, especially in Europe, companies are very conservative about what is the AI tool that is being used for good reasons.
Yeah.
But you also have to find a balance of moving with the times and evaluating what actually makes sense.
Hmm.
So it also is a matter of bringing the people to the table to actually understand what is the challenge they are handling. Because if you roll out, let's say, Copilot because you're a Microsoft shop, and it's like, oh, yay, this is the AI that we are using, it may not fit the bill for a bunch of people, or they simply don't know how to use it best.
Mm.
That's when they go out and look for other things.
Absolutely. And you have a story of a company with 1,500 people there and a couple of free AI accounts you found there. How many were that?
1,200. So,
1,200.
yes. So I did have a stint where I was stepping in as an interim IT person in a company, and I was curious. I'm like, okay, no AI strategy. What are people using? So you can call up OpenAI and actually inquire how many people with the domain ending of the company actually have registered for a free account. And out of 1,500, there were 1,200. Um, so yay, you know.
Yeah, well, yay on the one side that people like the product. However, when I sit in HR or let's say legal, I would have sleepless nights over this, especially when there was no formal training and no strategy in place.
Oh, absolutely. And nothing in place where it's like this is what's okay to put in there to ask, and this is not. So it's a huge IP risk at the end of the day. It's not
Mhm.
just an security risk, it's also an IP risk. So that put me in a pickle because it's like, well, if so many people are on, ChatGPT in that case, I need to hustle and get an enterprise license for that.
Yeah.
And that is a six-digit amount for that, volume of people. So
Mhm.
basically, if you are a little too slow as a company, it will catch up with you, and then you're forced to step into something that may have not been your first choice.
Yeah, absolutely. And of course, now my question is when you now say needs to be a solution, usually people would say, look, it's an IT project. The IT is going to lead through it and the IT is going to figure it out. This is not how it's going to happen right here because when the IT tries to own it, people will say, look, whatever you own, I will find one way or the other around your
Yeah.
idea to use AI right now, right here in my office. So how do you actually want to get a grip, want to get hold of that, that things do not go astray?
Yeah. So it's inviting people into the conversation. AI clearly is not something that you can push down from the top. And, that's how usually big IT changes are happening. It's like,
Yeah.
hey, this makes sense and let's just do it. This is one of the first examples where this will fail massively. Um, so we want to invite the wisdom of the crowd. That's the most important thing. And the easy piece to do this is find one spokesperson in each department that you basically dedicate as this is your AI champion. And
Mm.
sit at a table with them and understand what is the tools they are using, what are potential use cases where they could save a bunch of time, and then figure out what actually makes sense. Maybe the tools they're already using, and, tell them, hey, no harm, no foul, you can share it here. Nothing is going to happen. You also need to create that space where they are willing to share that. Um, Maybe it makes sense to go into this bigger and actually make it something that more people are using. But it really comes down to we cannot automate that. You have to have a human connection, a human conversation, and keep sharing what works, what doesn't work.
Absolutely. So my question now is, how do you find this? Because let's face it, you will find some people who are exactly the right fit. You will find some people who are maybe not too engaged, but they are the right people and they understand I need to step up to represent my department. However, you will also find the people who think they are the right pick. However, they are maybe very engaged, but just not the right person. So how do you know that you find the right people who actually can help you in the different departments?
Yeah, it's usually the quiet people. If somebody is in the department and says, me, hey, I
Hmm.
got it. Yeah, don't, nah. Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
So it usually is the quiet people. And how you find out about those is ask around and say, hey, if you have a pressing issue, who do you trust and who do you go to for advice?
Mm,
Um, so that's the people you want to have at the table.
yeah.
And they may not be the ones that fiddle too much with tools, but they know where the business issue lies.
Absolutely. Would you say these people are opinion leaders in the departments?
I would call them more of a sleeper. They are not really opinion leaders because, again, they don't really take a big stand, have a big voice.
Mm,
Um, but they are trusted. They may be in the organization for a fairly long time. They are clearly not, IT geeks in any way, but they understand processes,
yeah.
and that is the core here. Of course, you want to have somebody from the IT department who's heavily into AI, who's super excited, who knows all the tools. So if you match the crowd who understands business and one who understands the AI world, that's when it gets interesting.
Brilliant. And when now people say, I think this sounds a bit like us. We did something with AI. Maybe we have Copilot somewhere, but we never actually did anything about it. So maybe we have exactly that issue right now that we're sitting there on a ticking time bomb and maybe we need help. And I mean, obviously you can help here. When people now say, we'd like to get in touch, how can they get in touch with you?
Check out my website, digitalwisdom.co. I also have a really interesting calculator tool on there that you can try out to really see if you're not filling these gaps or if you let it sprawl, what is it going to cost you at the end? It's a little bit shocking, the numbers, but hey, try it.
Absolutely. I think these are the perfect final words. So when you say, I think we have an AI strategy in our head, but maybe not in place, it is now time to act, and Barbara is the person to talk to. So at the end of this podcast and videocast, there's only one thing left for me to say, Barbara. Thank you very much for your
Thank
time.
you.